Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 276, recorded on September 11th, 2023. My name is Steve, and of course, I am joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey Steve, it's going.
It's good. It's good. It's been a while. Also, of course, joined by Greg. Greg, how you doing?
Doing pretty well now that I'm actually back too after missing the last episode right before the long break.
It's
So
true. Greg had
back
a extra
better than
long
ever.
break. Well, like I said, this is episode 276, and we're going to be talking a lot about the things that we've missed over the last couple months of our break, and hopefully all of you had a good break as well. But we're going to be talking about new voice for Mario, Super Mario Wonder Direct that happened, also at EastAsiaSoft Direct, and some rumors, as well as lots of other headlines that we're going to be covering. And like half the podcast is going to be what Barry's been playing over the last 2 months. So, yeah, we'll get into that in just a bit. But yeah, if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, be sure to subscribe and also hit us up on social media. We're at NintendoFuse, and you can just follow us on social media if you've find us over there, and also join us on our Discord. We have the links on the screen and also in our show notes in the YouTube description. And speaking of YouTube, we go live with this podcast every other Monday, and normally every other Monday. We have taken the last couple months off for the summer. Some things have been going on in each of our lives. We need to kind of take a little bit of a break, and thanks for allowing us to do that. But we are back, and we're going to be going live every other Monday on YouTube and Twitch, with some things happening here and there. And if we ever need to skip a day, we'll let you know. But make sure you join us in the live chat when we go live. We absolutely love interacting with you throughout the entire episode. So the news topics that we're talking about, any of the games you've been playing, any of that stuff, we would love for you to interact with us in the live chat, both on YouTube and on Twitch. So let's jump in, of course, with what we have been playing lately. And Barry, we're going to let you take it off, from the very beginning, because you got quite the list. I'll just say that. Quite the list.
Yeah, so for those that missed the last episode, my child came early, 3 weeks early, and he's wonderful. He's great. He's it's almost coming to 2.5 months now, almost 3 months. Just wild to think about that already. But because of that, my wife is on maternity leave, and I'm at home, and I'm able to play some games. Had the in-laws in for a couple weeks to help out as well. So I'm like, if you're gonna watch the baby, let's play some video games. So starting off on the Switch, still playing Pokemon Unite, still doing it every night. Went back to Pokemon Scarlet because they had the Pokemon Presents and they had the Mew and Mewtwo event. So had to get my Mew for free, level him up, and Mewtwo was tough. That was one of the toughest fights I've done in Pokemon. Managed to beat him, get my Mewtwo. Helped my wife get it as well, so that was really good. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had DLC, so I went through and did the new courses, the Track 5 or Booster Pass 5. Same with DLC with Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line. Since I have the season pass, just going through the new songs. They added Mana songs and I think Chrono songs since the last time I talked about it. What a great game, and they're adding 16 songs now too. I never did the first Star Ocean, so I figured now's the time to do the first one. So I did Star Ocean first, Departure R. That is a tough game. That is a really tough title, but a lot of fun. The series improved in my opinion since then, but I'm really glad I went back and did it. Another great game is Honor Jarred. This is like a Zelda style game, exploring and saving your town. It's got like witty humor, like Mother style humor. Just really cool. And there's a difficulty mode that allows you to do casual, which is great, where you can take no damage. And it's like, oh, this is wonderful when I don't have a lot of time. So it lets you do that. I've always wanted to do the Famicom Detective Club games, so I finally bought it. Yes, a digital title, because Nintendo refuses to give us a physical. So I started the first game, and I didn't Jones with me as much. Like, it is still an archaic old visual novel style where they give you like choices, look here, touch here, talk to so and so, but they don't tell you how to move on. So like you're doing the same choices over and over and looking for like this one little speck before you can move on, and it's like frustrating. Like, okay, I might go back to it, but it didn't really Jones with me. Alchemist Adventure, another action adventure on the Switch that has crafting. It's got a cool story, just a lot of fun. I didn't play it through, but I played a good chunk of it. One game I did play through, Azure Striker Gunvolt 3. My physical copy, I should say, finally came a year later. Love the Gunvolt series. If you're a Mega Man X fan, you need to be playing these games. So I'm happy to finally get 3 under my belt. A game that I'm ashamed I never did outside of the first chapter on the DS, Ghost Trick. Acclaimed game. Finally came to the Switch, got it physical from Asia, and I'm like, I'm gonna play through Ghost Trick because I hear nothing but amazing things, and all those things that people say are 100% warranted. What a cool game! You were dead. You got to manipulate the environment and to solve puzzles and figure out who killed you and what's really going on. If you haven't played, I see Steve shaking his head. Hopefully he's played it. He knows what I'm talking about. It's great. So I finally got to do that. I also did Gal Guardians, which is part of the Galgun series, but it doesn't play like them. It's a Castlevania game. It is old school Castlevania, not Metroidvania. I really enjoyed it until I beat the game, and then it's like, oh, you didn't really beat the game. You got to do the whole game again with fetch quests. And I'm like, oh, I don't like games where they make you play through the game again. So I did the first half of the game, and I didn't do the fetch quest. Another game I got, Astro Flame Starfighters. It's a shmup, and honestly, I did not enjoy this, and it reminded me of some of the ones that Steve and I have reviewed in the past. So I was like, oh, did not play a lot of that. Another one, Retro Machina, it's like a post-apocalyptic world where you are a robot trying to figure out what happened to humanity. And I got about halfway through, but it bored me a little bit. So it wasn't like it was not a bad game. It just maybe my mind wasn't in the right mindset for it. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop that. Another game that I really had high hopes for, After Image. I backed it as a Kickstarter. I've heard good things about it. I could not get into After Image. Some beautiful Metroidvania, wonderful team. I've had the chance to talk to the team before. Just could not get into it. So if you like it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. One game I did love, Master Detective Archives Raincode. I knew from the second this was shown off I wanted to play this game. This is from the Danganronpa team. This is a really cool detective story where it's not a visual novel. You actually run around the city. It's a 3D environment. You get to do subquests, talk to people, investigate, and the murders that you investigate because you're a detective are so intricate. There's locked room murders. There's multiple killers. Sometimes there's all these really interesting things going on. But you also have these special powers to solve the puzzle, and every chapter you have a different partner, and you could borrow their power from disguises to stopping time and reversing it to becoming a ghost and walking around and talking to people and hearing what they say behind your back, and getting through locked rooms and stuff. And then you get to go through this crazy dungeon to solve each of the murders, and they're usually it's one of those games where you're like, I figured it out. And not only were you wrong, but you were wrong like 10 times over because you're like, oh, I get it. I was wrong. It's this. Oh no, I'm wrong again. It's this. It's great. It is absolutely a great game. There's DLC for it that I probably will go to, but it's highly recommend that game for sure. Speaking of DLC, Mario and Rabbids. Last Spark Hunter came out, so I did that. That was short, and then the Rayman DLC came out, and I'm right on the final boss. And truthfully, I almost quit the Rayman DLC, even though it's shorter, because it's like broken up into these areas, and I went to the first area, and I got to the boss, and the boss was just like, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm super exhausted, and I'm like, this is frustrating because it's already a strategy RPG, so it's not my favorite, and I'm like, ah, I played it, and I'm like, today, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna go back, but I'm gonna do everything before that boss. That way, I'm more leveled up, and I did, and I beat that boss. So I have the final boss left to go. But it's fun. I mean, if you enjoy Sparks of Hope, the DLC is a good experience. So I do recommend playing them. Speaking of great, not even good, great games, Sea of Stars derailed me. I would have done Rayman first, but Sea of Stars came out. I backed it in Kickstarter with a physical, and they're like, "Oh, the physical's delayed. Here's a free digital code." So I love Chrono Trigger. This is a 16-bit style RPG, with very heavily influenced on Chrono Trigger. Highly, highly recommend this game. This is so good. I thought of Greg a lot of times while playing this. I'm like, oh, this is something that I can see Greg really, really enjoying. Um, and that's it for Switch. I know that's a small list. On the Xbox, I did go back and play a little more Diablo 4, but I'm not completing that game. I think the ship sailed. When we last did the thing, last podcast, I should say, on the PS5, Final Fantasy 16 had just come out, so I went and finished that. Great game, very divisive with the combat, but I played it on the easier mode, and I really enjoyed the characters and the story, so I do recommend it. Also, Legend of Heroes: Trails into Reverie came out, which was the game I was supposed to finish as my son was born, but no, that didn't happen. But all the Legend of Hero games are great. Highly, highly recommend. When I talked about Cold Steel 4 on this podcast in the past, I said this is Avengers Endgame. It was, and then this is Endgame 2.0. This is not only Cold Steel 5, but the third Crossbell game, and it's so good, and I highly recommend it. But I also highly recommend you don't touch this game until you play the others, because it is so good, and you will get so much out of it. A game I didn't expect to play. It just has a little downtime. I'm like, I'll try this. This looks good. Sword and Fairy 7 Together Forever is a Chinese RPG. So the whole thing's in Chinese. Got a US release. It's all subtitled. Chinese mythology, very kung fu, very demons and angels and all that stuff, but soaked in Chinese mythology. It looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and a lot of fun. I really got into it. My wife really got into it, way more than I thought I would. So I was very happy to finish it. My only complaint is that sometimes the subtitles moved a little too quickly, and there was no way to go back because Chinese can say a sentence in like 3 or 4 words because of the language difference, and it's like, wait, hold on, I didn't get there. But definitely recommend it. It's not translated, of course, verbally. It's only text. And then finally on the PS5, game I've been looking forward to, Baldur's Gate 3. And I'll say this game is incredible. This game actually got my wife to go back and play Baldur's Gate 1 on the Switch because we both love Dungeons and Dragons but don't have time to sit there for a campaign and get people together, especially with a kid. This is a single player D&D campaign, but it's bugged. And I can't continue the game at the start of the third act. I can't leave my camp. It is a known bug and there is no fix at this point. And it doesn't always happen, but it happened to me, and now I am stuck on the third act of 3. And it's like really frustrating because I want to finish this game and I can't because of something out of my control. That being said, I still highly recommend this game because it is amazing and the storytelling is great, the options are great. There's just so much to it. And finally, on the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. They added some new stuff. And on mobile, I went back to Pokemon Go just to get a Vivian and Pokemon Scarlet because you could sync up with Scarlet now, and Mario Kart Tour, which we'll talk about later. But I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour.
Nice. Barry,
Take a
sounds
breath
like
now.
you've take a breath, get a nap, get a drink. And I'm sorry that my game breaking bugness has somehow transferred over to you. So
It's all your fault.
it's all my fault. Somehow it's went across the country and affected your games as well. Greg, what have you been up to over the last couple of months?
Alrighty, so definitely not as quite as much gaming as Barry's put in there, but
It's true.
I assure you, I have put in like numerous, like easily like probably a good like 100 some hours like between all the games
Nice.
that are on my list. So like there has been plenty of time added in there. So before I really go through like the game stuff is pretty much over the last few weeks I did happen to propose to my girlfriend back in a few weeks ago. So I am now newly engaged again, and so we'll be getting the next part of our chapter. We're trying to look at getting married in either the spring or fall of 2024. So hopefully we can get that all settled. We'll be looking at some venues and like this weekend and as the weeks come by as we find more places to look at. We're not really set on any particular date. It just depends on the venue's availability as long as you like the venue. So more to come on that as that news will progress over the course of this next season of NintendoFuse Podcast. But
Congratulations.
thank you. Pretty much before the last podcast that I was on, I was pretty much only playing Tears of the Kingdom. So I've now, even like well past that and into the break, I did actually manage to fully complete Tears of the Kingdom to my level of completion that I wanted, which is basically 100%ing everything but the Korok seeds. I don't think I did the maps section because when I was doing some calculations based on how like the 100% total is determined, like I don't think I have them all based on the number of missing Koroks I have as well too. But I did at least get enough Koroks to max out the inventory space. And then I did a number of the optional like completion items, like fully upgrading all the armor and all of that stuff. And that pretty much came a lot easier because I didn't refuse to kind of patch my game so then I could still use duplication glitches. So
1.11, baby.
I unfortunately took the very first update and then I was like, oh, I don't want like everything getting patched from here on out. So like, I turned off the auto updates automatically and didn't look back. So
Nice.
Thankfully, that's a huge benefit of not having those turned on. But yeah, it was definitely an awesome game. I easily think it's my all-time favorite Zelda game. It's a lot more in depth than like Breath of the Wild, and everything that they've added, like with all those contraptions you can build, is just phenomenal. I wasn't really quite as impressive as everybody else that you can see on like YouTube and TikTok, and have like all these crazy contraptions that can like kill Lionels and stuff before they can even like destroy the machinery and everything. So it's definitely was very cool and very fun time was had, and I really enjoyed like every minute of it, even hunting down the final elements of things that I needed to complete. So I just had a complete blast playing it, and easily one of my favorite Zelda game. Moving on, I did also check out the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, so everything was looking really cool, and had some fun on some of the various races and played against some people online and did well, pretty much still going strong there. So continue to look forward to I think there's only one pack left of the DLC.
Yep, one more.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do after that is completed. And then a new game I picked up from, obviously over the time off, was Pikmin 4. So I had played the 3 on like earlier when it came out on Switch, like the very first like year or two of the Switch when it came out, and had really enjoyed it. I never imagined I would become a huge or become like a Pikmin fan in general, but it was definitely a lot of fun there. So I definitely got 4, and I've actually already fully 100%ed 4. So it was a lot of fun, and I had a really fun time playing through like the entire game and the new story. And it's really interesting how they keep bringing Almar back, especially in like 3 and 4, like combined. Like it's just like his side story, like it's always there, and it's always like the same side story of his ship falling apart, and then you still have to complete that as well too. So yeah, the main takeaway that I didn't like about the game was how they were requiring you to do like this special cave that unlocks after you like beat the full story mode. So to get like the purple and the white onion, you have to like go through this like special extra cave of like difficulties of doing like the Dandori challenges, and that some of those were really rough and tough and kind of hard to enjoy. So that really took several retries on a number of them, and was a lot more frustrating than anything, because the very last item that you need to like collect to get the full 100% is like a giant piece of gold, and it takes like 1,000 Pikmin weight to get it, and you can't even use the dog to help carry it. So you have to have exactly 100 purple Pikmin. So it's either grinding out the purple Pikmin without the onion, or unlocking the onion via this quest route, and then you can obviously then create it with any of the pellets that you find in any of the other levels, and you're just kind of like grinding out the spawning of 100 Pikmin. But yeah, other than that, the game was really fun and really definitely enjoyed the rest of it there. I did pick up the Pikmin 1 and 2 bundle, and I have actually already fully went through Pikmin 1. So um, I had missed both of them on GameCube the first time around, and also didn't really get the Wii Play controls, and I was kind of banking that they were going to add them to Switch, and surprisingly they did. So that was an easy pickup, and I got the 1 and 2 bundled together and went through the first one, and you can definitely tell it was like the ideas were all there, and it was very rough around the edges. I had a lot of difficulty navigating some of the Pikmin around some of the very tight walkways they have. It's very easy for them to fall off bridges and like smaller cliffs, and so then they could either start like drowning or like getting separated from the group, and that part comes very, very frustrating. So it was definitely very rough around the edges, but you can still see like a lot of the main gameplay of stuff remained intact. I did start Pikmin 2, but I don't really have enough to really form an opinion on it. I just basically just did the very entry tutorial, and then I was pretty much done. That was just like a few days ago that I finally got to load up that one. So more to come on Pikmin 2 for the next time around. And then finally still doing Roblox with my daughter, along with Monopoly Go. Monopoly Go has been pretty fun, but I probably will be turning in the towel here soon because it's getting a lot more greedy and not letting you really complete events without buying dice all the time to get that stuff done. So probably be dropping off in the next few months here, if not by the next podcast or two. So that's pretty much it for me then there for the games I've done.
Nice. Well, let's see. Go into the chat, and it looks like Gaming Dad says that only Pokemon Go for him. Too busy getting ready for the baby and doing stuff around the house since the storm back in July. And so, yeah, excited for the baby. Pokemon Go. And I think he's the only one so far that's put anything in the chat. So if you are watching along, please be sure to let us know what you've been playing in the live chat, and you can also do that in the comments after the fact. If you haven't been watching and joining us live, you can throw those in the comments on YouTube as well. But yeah, I have been playing also some Pokemon Go, which was surprising to me, but just kind of happened to be poking around my phone one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna re-download Pokemon Go and see what's going on there, and so haven't really been doing a whole lot except for just firing it up and seeing what Pokemon are around me and catching what I can and moving on, and just doing whatever pops up on the screen and everything. So it's been kind of fun. Also been playing some Rocket League, of course. New season 12 just came out, and the main car that they give you this time is a Porsche 911 Turbo. So that's pretty fun to play with. The new course or the map that you can play in is really cool. It's like a night course. It's like Neon Japan kind of based. It's really fun. But the rest of the items I'm not too thrilled with that they have in the Rocket Pass this season. So not a big fan of the items and stuff, but the new map is really fun. I'm really enjoying that. And the new car, I didn't think I would like the Porsche, but it's pretty cool actually. And then been playing Mario and Rabbids. I played just specifically the Rayman DLC. I skipped over the other ones and went straight into the Rayman one, with it being kind of newer and everything. What I thought was weird was it advised me to play the main game before I started the Rayman DLC, even though I'd already beaten the main game. It still said, "Hey, you should probably play the main game to learn how to play this." I was like, don't you see that I have a save that already has the game beaten already? But
it's just
whatever.
Easier to make a message there.
Yeah, I guess so. But it seems interesting. I'm far from beating it so far, but it's interesting. It's fun to play around with the new sparks and Rayman's moveset and everything too. What really threw me off is in the tutorial at the very beginning when it's just Rayman. I was like, I thought there was a way to see the whole map. Why can't I access that? It's because I didn't meet up with the other party members yet to be able to get that access at the very beginning. But it was really throwing me off because I was like, I swore there was a way to see the whole map at one point. So that was a little jarring at the very beginning, but it really was no big deal, and having fun with it so far.
It's really short, like in the grand scheme of things. And you skipped the last Spark Hunter. That's the better DLC in my opinion.
Is early,
Like
okay.
that is it's a new planet. It's got, really interesting mechanics, really new enemies, a really cool story. So I do think that. I mean, they're both great. They're both independent, but I do think you should check that one out too.
Cool. Yeah, I'm planning on going back, but I thought it's like I only got enough time for one. I'll go Rayman because it was the most hyped at least. And then played some Tears of the Kingdom. I have not completed it yet. I keep getting distracted and trying different things. Climb that mountain, and then that leads me to climbing something else. And then I was like, oh, I need to get this access to this thing, and trying to do all these other things. And so I've still got 2 temples to complete, and then the rest, the final part of the game. But still enjoying it. It's just one of those games that I can't just fire up and play just quickly here and there. And that's unfortunately, like, that's what I've had over the last few months, is just short bits that I can just log on to Rocket League, play a couple matches, and move on, instead of trying to sink tons of time into figuring out what I need to do next in Zelda, and keep moving on. Also played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well on the new tracks, and yeah, they're fun. The one in the bathroom is hilarious, because I had not played that one yet until recently, and so that was fun, and just yeah, enjoying that. Got to play it with some friends, visited them, and playing with them and their kids and everything. It was really fun too. And also booted up Clash Royale again, and played it a little bit on mobile as well, and got to join my clan again. And I was like, hey guys, haven't been here for like the last 6 months, but what's new in the game? And apparently you can evolve cards now and all these other things in the game. So yeah, I'm still picking up and still learning what's new. And like I said, Pokemon Go was also new with me. So yeah, that's what we've been playing. It's been a lot. And then now we're going to move into some of our main discussion on news stories that's been going on over the last couple of months. And our first news story has to do with the voice of Mario. We found out on August 21st that we were going to have a new voice, that Charles Martinet, who's been the voice of Mario for a really long time. I can't remember how long it's been. It's been since
Mario 64.
Mario 64. So
yeah 96.
So quick math. What is that, like 27? I was doing math wrong. Yep, 27 years. So a really long time that he's been the voice of Mario. I got to meet him one time at E3, and just an awesome experience. He's such a great guy. And yeah, so he is going to be stepping down from the voice of Mario, and we were told we were going to get an announcement that was going to come at some point to tell us a little bit more. And so we finally did get that announcement, and Nintendo posted that, and it basically was yeah, Mr. Martinet and Mr. Miyamoto sharing a little bit more about how just thankful they are for Mr. Martinet and his lending his voice to this beloved character for so long, and then about his new role as Mario ambassador moving forward. So Charles is going to be traveling around and still doing what he has been doing at gaming events, and just interacting with the fans and doing all the voices and stuff for fans, and just being the Mario ambassador. But starting with Super Mario Brothers Wonder, we're going to have a new voice for Mario. And from what we've heard so far, it doesn't really sound too different, but officially it's a new voice starting with Mario Wonder. So Barry, what do you think about all this?
I mean, I know people are losing their crap over it. First off, he's getting older. It sounds like they want him to continue doing exactly what he's been doing, but getting paid for it. Because I think before, when he was doing the shows, he was completely independent. He was there as a guest. He was making money selling autographs, but he was doing that on the side. I think now Nintendo's literally paying him a steady paycheck to keep doing that, and he's probably really happy about it. I'm sure he'll still be talking with them. He's still friends with them. He'll probably be working with the new Mario voice I don't know if this is because of the Mario movie as well, because like, oh look, Chris Pratt worked. But I remember the time before him, before Charles, and we had the Super Mario Super Show and Captain Lou, and we were fine. We
Mm-hmm.
were fine beforehand, and maybe they want Mario to be speaking more. And people have said like, oh, I don't think I can listen to Mario speak in the Charles's voice for a long time, and we were able to do it with Chris's voice. So I mean, there's a lot up in the air that we don't know about. It's weird that they started with Wonder. You would think they would give that as his last hurrah, one
Mm-hmm.
last time. So now his last credit is actually Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, specifically, I guess, the last Spark Hunter, because I don't know if he recorded anything new for that, but they used the samples they already had. So that his last time is not even in a Nintendo published game, but an Ubisoft game. But yeah, I'm happy for him as long as he's happy. If he's getting the money he wants, live the life, he's able to go and meet people. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your lending your voice. You've done it for a long time. And all I have to say is the whole fact of him calling Miyamoto Papa is just so wholesome,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much share a lot of the same sentiments. I think this was probably something that was coming for, like, due to the movie and everything, with him not doing like the full on role. But I guess maybe I'm the only exception. I feel like I could listen to him like do Mario for whatever, because I mean that one E3 that me and Steve had shared together, like he was like using a microphone somewhere and he was like talking like he was like a just saying stuff of what he saw and everything there, and that was just so like one of my favorite memories of like E3, because it just really made it that much more real that Mario was just like legitimate just talking to the fans. And I know he has a strong passion for that, and glad he's gonna be able to still do that going forward. It just obviously kind of stinks we won't be really hearing him in the games possibly, unless he's just recorded all the lines that he ever needed it for them to be able to use. I mean, but maybe as Barry said, if he's going to be actually just going to be uh, not really have more of a speaking role, then maybe they have a different voice in mind. And I mean, there are people that are able to like mimic like, those kinds of voices. I mean, you can hear all the people impersonating any other famous characters. So I'm sure that's probably why it sounds pretty close to how Charles does it, because it's I mean, people are able to do those kinds of things. So, but yeah,
Yep.
just really just happy to hear that he's doing good, and glad that Nintendo still is like honoring that he was a very like integral part of Mario since Mario first started talking in Super Mario 64. So that
You
Yep.
know, one thing we haven't covered, and I don't see many people talking about this, is what about his other voices? Luigi, Wario, Waluigi. Like, is there going to be the same person covering all of that going forward, or is there going to be four new people and all the other voices that Charles does?
I
Yeah.
mean, I was actually going to be bringing that up, so I'm glad that you
There you
just
go.
triggered that part of the discussion. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering how they'll do other characters as well. So it's like I kind of alluded to, like maybe they already have all the lines pre-recorded that they think they'll need for Luigi and Waluigi and Wario and stuff. Because I mean, there's not really tons of dialogue, but they always are with their like wow and all that kind of stuff. So it's, I mean, Nintendo has used a lot of like sound clips. I mean, going forward, I mean, Yoshi, I mean, um, there was like a channel that I follow on YouTube that covered like the history of the voices of different characters or something, and like I was like watching like the episodes on like Mario and even like Luigi, Princess Peach, and everything, and I like covered all the different things from like TV appearances to even like all the different game credits even. So um those are very interesting series to watch if anyone's interested. I can't think of the channel, but it's was pretty well done, like to document all of that. And pretty much you can kind of know, like even from like Mario Kart 64, they kind of just like reuse some of the same clips and sound effects, like in even like the newer Mario Kart games. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much includes like Yoshi, because that he doesn't even talk. So like it's just been like that beater beater. Like it's like that hasn't really been changed, and it's not really technically a voice, but it's pretty much a fact of how they like reuse that over and over again instead of just recording a brand new line for it every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that he's also stepping down from those other voices as well. They haven't really made that clear, but I would presume that that's also the case. But yeah, I think what Hassan's actually in the chat as well. And hey, Hassan, and he said that he thinks they'd like to keep their games front and center, and they'd rather not have a name attached to Mario. They just want it to be focused on Mario and not the voice. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And he also says that's why they're not telling us the name of the next Mario voice. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I could get behind that way of thinking as well. You know, they've changed up Zelda in the game since she's been talking. They've changed up you know, the person that does all the Link, you know, grunts and noises, and all the other different characters and stuff that they've had in other games kind of keep changing it up from game to game. They don't like to attach to one person. So
that's different though, because all the Links and Zeldas are actually different.
True.
You know, Mario is always Mario, but Twilight Princess Link and Breath of the Wild Link are two different characters.
Well, that's true. Unless you, I mean, maybe. I mean, they've not really come out and said that the same, this is the same Mario that it is, you know, that did all these different things as well. It could be, you know, different universes and multiverse sort of thing as well.
It could be.
I don't know if there's really a chronological version of all the different Mario games and how they go in timeline order. I'm sure people have tried to put it all together, but I don't really know if it's really meant to do that as well. But yeah.
I mean, I know Paper Mario kind of dives into that a little bit. I think there's like references to like, oh, the countless times I've kidnapped Peach and all this other kind of stuff. So I do know that they kind of allude to some of those kinds of details, but there's not, like, as you said, there's not really a chronological saying like, oh, Mario 1 is the first one, and then Mario 2 happens, and then Mario 3, then Mario World.
Yoshi's Island is the first one. They're babies.
But then they made Baby Mario and Baby Luigi separate characters, so like it's
no, they're like travel dimensions and time. Like Mario and Luigi partners in time. They come from the past.
You got that as well, yeah. And then they go to New York and turn into dinosaurs and goo. Yes. But yeah. So we got to move on. But yeah. Biggest thing is we're gonna find out. You know, very soon what this new Mario voice is, because Super Mario Wonder is coming out very, very soon. In fact, we had a Super Mario Wonder Direct that happened just the other day on August 31st, and we found out lots of new things about this game. So during this the Direct, we found out there are going to be 6 different worlds plus Bowser's world, so 7 overall, 7 worlds. There's going to be talking flowers, which could be annoying or could be fun.
You can turn them off,
depending on both. Yeah, depending on what your preference is. But if you don't like them, you can turn them off. Then actually, you also have.
I don't think you can fully turn them off, though. I thought they did like a.
I think they'll like still text. Do the text on the screen will still happen, but the audio, you can turn that off. And then there are going to be 7 regular playable characters plus Yoshi and Nabbit. And Yoshi and Nabbit don't take damage, and you can also not take power-ups with either of those characters. But then there's also new enemies like Hoppy Cats and Melon Piranha plants and Condarts and Conks and Mumsies and Mamas. And then we also found out about the new power-ups. We already knew about the elephant power-up, but we also found out about the bubble and the drill power-up that's going to be added to the game. And also the fire flower is returning. We found out that we have about these wonder flowers, which basically make random weird things happen. And it's kind of like if Mario went on an acid trip, is how I would describe it. And there's going to be badges in this game. We don't need no stinking badges, but they're going to give them to us anyway. And they're going to give us a minor RPG kind of element to the game with extra enhancements that you can give each of your characters. Actually, I believe all the characters you have playing, so if you have 4 characters, all of them have to take the same badge, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how it goes. You can't have 4 different badges. You also share the different lives that you have when you're playing 4 different characters. speaking of that, there is local co-op for up to 4 players and online co-op with holograms that can save you if you die. So if you go dying in the game, similar to other games, the new Super Mario Brothers world of games, you turn into a bubble and you can get popped and brought back into the game. This time you turn into a ghost, but you can also get brought back into the game if you are touched by another player or a hologram online or a standee also the online. You can be brought back into the game if it's done very quickly. I think you get like 5 seconds or something like that to be able to do that. On top of that, you can play with random people online or friends in a shared room. And there's also different contests that you can do in those shared rooms with your friends as well online. And it's going to be launching on October 20th, 2023. And they're also going to have a new red Mario OLED Switch launching on October 6th. So, Barry, what'd you think about what you've seen for Mario Wonder?
I was already sold in the game, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to watch this, but I decided to watch it anyway, and it got me even more hyped. I think it looks great. At first, the old characters are the same, kind of threw me off. I'm like, wait, what? Luigi and Peach, they're all, but then the badges, and I'm like, okay, I see what you did there. I could accept it because that makes sense then. I didn't hear about all the characters that they'll be the same if you're playing.
I think that's the case. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's the case. Also, when you play 4 players, you're not bumping into each other and jumping on each other's heads anymore. You can ride a Yoshi that's if it's in the game. I don't know who has control though. I didn't hear that. Like when you ride a Yoshi,
the Yoshi rider has control.
But I do know that you can't bump into each other and throw each other off cliffs and stuff like that, like you could in the new Super Mario Brothers.
One thing that I know a lot of people didn't like this because they wanted to play online with their friends or randos, but I just thought it was interesting of all games to pull from Dark Souls Mario, because the online component is virtually Dark Souls, where you can see the spirits of other people that are actively playing. They can leave you messages and help you out and all that stuff. Dark Souls does that too. And it's like, that's so weird to see Mario borrow from Dark Souls, but not the difficulty, just that component of it. The game looks great. I don't know who I'm going to play as, but I look forward to playing it. And when it comes out next month, my son is already starting to see when I'm playing like Mario and Rabbids right now. He's like, ooh, colors, and like it's just grabbing his attention. So I'm curious to see if this grabs his attention at all, and I hope it does. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see it through with his eyes. But it's definitely something I'm super excited for.
That's cool. Greg, what do you think about Wonder?
Yeah, I am definitely more sold on it. So I actually missed like the initial day that the direct even happened, but I did definitely watch it like a few days later. I was like, oh yeah, they released a direct on this. I should definitely take a look at it. So I did miss the initial live thing, and I did miss like, thankfully I didn't get like spoiled at anything that they were showing off or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely looking like a really fun game. I know I was very worried like how the new series was kind of like heading in like a reusable direction where they just kind of just kept doing like this pretty much the same stuff like in each game, and it was like way too formulaic. And I was definitely at that point contemplating of like almost giving up like Mario games in general at that point. But thankfully it's been several years since New Super Mario Brothers U, and I'm definitely very much interested in this one, and it is glad to see that they're kind of trying to change it up a little bit more and not just continue like pumping out like the same 2D Mario platforming games. So it's definitely really awesome to be able to see you can like play as Peach and even Daisy now. That's even more incredible. I didn't think they would ever make her a playable character after all this time too. So that's really great to see there. I have answered the question. I think they did say that pretty much all the characters are going to be the same, and it's just going to be like the badges that sets them apart. And I don't necessarily think that each character has to use the same badge. It kind of made it seem like you could use different ones and like
that's what I thought.
kind of team up. Like you could have one person use like the grappling hook, and somebody else gets whatever like something else. So it just
I hope that's the case. I think I was watching the Treehouse live, and I feel like I saw one thing that seemed to be where they all had the same one, and I don't know if they purposely chose all the same one or if they had to. So I'm not sure
Yeah,
on that.
I actually missed the Treehouse Live part of it, but yeah, I'm thinking that you'll probably be able to do it. I mean, unless there's like a level that would kind of forces you to use the same one. I mean, they could always do that too. But I, yeah, I was based on what I heard from the direct. It kind of sounded like it was each player could fully customize like their experience and like, oh, I want to be like Peach and I want to have like this particular badge and so then I can help out get this power up because it kind of sounded like you're gonna have to replay some of these levels multiple times to get all the stars because you might need probably 3 different badges to get a star, and especially in some of the later levels or bonus levels. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think the replay value of this game is super high because they've included all these different things. One of the things that I noticed as well, it doesn't seem like there's a timer in this game. What do you guys think about that with a 2D side-scrolling Mario without a timer? Is that going to change up how you play Mario from this point on?
I don't think it bothers me that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't bother like me in the slightest. I mean, I almost felt like sometimes the timer was a little too restrictive, but especially coming from like Mario Maker, where people can make like very elaborate like levels, so it's almost kind of forces like a restriction. But I'm kind of wondering if there might be a few levels here and there that do kind of have some sort of time mechanic tied to it. So it's maybe like you can't take because like just like leave the game on and unpaused and like nothing will happen to you kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, unless it's just kind of more in the back, like a different menu or something where it's maybe not always on the screen, but I have no idea how they'll handle that. I mean, it's kind of went away when they did like Mario Odyssey and they just removed like the life counter. So, I mean, it could just be a way to make things more fun and not have like those restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like it allows you to explore a little bit more too, which I think will be really good. And I'm sure, like you said, Greg, there'll be ways that they'll enforce some time on you at some times. Maybe you have someone that's chasing you, and so you have to keep moving the whole time. So it's not your traditional timer, but but if you stop in this one, you'll die. And so there may be that kind of a time on some of the levels. We find out who knows. And like right now, what we're seeing one on the screen that is it looks to be like a auto moving. I think there's some auto moving ones and stuff like that. So stuff like that will kind of have a timer built into it as well, because you don't want to get crushed or drown underwater or something like that too. So
yeah, I'm almost wondering if some of the badges are going to kind of reflect some of the power of like the normal abilities of the character. Like if like there'll be like something that like
Yeah.
allows you to jump higher, but then like you maybe can't like stay like steady ground like Luigi's standard slippery kind of feel, but with a higher jump. And then Peach is usually known for like floating, and Toad being able to run fast. I'm sure that
They
there's
showed the floating and the high jump already.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So that's confirmed.
Yeah, so there'll be some that seem to affect the entire game. And so whether it be like you're running the whole time, you're running fast, or or your high jump or wall jump or things like that, grapple. But then there's others that I think you start the game in a certain way, or you get a extra coin reward or something like that. So there's 2 different types of badges that you can equip for the game.
Looks like
So
3 different kinds actually, based on the.
it might be 3, yeah. So I don't think we saw the third, but yeah. And so like the high jump would be on one where you get to choose when you want to use that, and then the safety bounce is another one that allows you to get an extra life if you fall in the water or the lava or something like that. And then there may be a third one on the right side that we have not seen yet as well. But yeah, it's fun. I definitely was kind of like, I don't know about this game, and then the more I have seen it, the more I am getting hyped about it for sure. So kind of like we're in all 3 different places. We're 3 different places in the beginning, but it seems like we're all very excited about it now. So yeah, October 20th. So not too far that we have to wait on Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Another direct or event that we had come out was the EastAsiaSoft event, and we found out that they had several different games in their fall showcase, and so I'm just going to run through those games right now. They're also on the screen if you watch the video version of this. We found out this is just the Switch games. They have The Bridge Curse that's out now. Mungeon Souls Z comes out on September 14th. Rainbow Moon, early 2024. Otoko, something like that. Otoko, that's probably what it is. Otoko Cross, Pretty Boys Dropout on September 1st, so it's already out at this point. Escape from Terror City on September 6th. Diorama Dungeon Crawl, Master of the Living Castle on October 4th. Swap Shot on October 25th. Battle Stations Blockade sometime in this fall of 2023. Alpha Particle sometime in fall of 2023, and Dream Cutter also fall of 2023. Barry, any of the games they showed off stand out to you?
I'm really happy Mugen Souls Z is coming out. Yeah, I did enjoy the first one. I never played the second one. I got it on PS3, but they were PS3 exclusives, so they were stuck for 2 gens ago now, and the PS3 isn't even like backwards compatible. Oh, the PS4 or 5 isn't backwards compatible to PS3 because it's that system was like one that games went to die. Like at least the 360, a lot of those games are you can play on the Xbox Series X. So to see some PS3 exclusives get off of that system, I think is great. They're crazy RPGs from like the Disgaea style of humor, and you can go up to level 9,999 and do like trillions of points of damage and just kind of go crazy with it. And it's completely uncensored this time, which is cool. Getting all the content that we didn't get. One game that stood out was Escape from Terror City because it reminded me of another game that I believe is the same developer that I reviewed that I wanted to like and I didn't, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. But a Swap Shot was another one that kind of like drew my attention. I'm like, that's really interesting. Where see how you can get through the different stages. It's simplistic puzzle platforming, but I think it could be a lot of fun.
Cool. Greg, any games stand out for you?
Yeah, so I didn't do my homework, and normally I do like watching the EastAsiaSoft one because me and Barry have reviewed several in the past, and I think even like all three of us have done, and so I'm sure that there's some on this list, but since without doing my homework, I can't identify exactly which ones those are, but yeah, I'll probably have to come back and say like, oh, I ended up picking up whatever this one or added it to my list for hopefully the next podcast when I come more prepared.
Gotcha. Yeah, Mugen Souls was one of the ones that I was like, it's funny you mentioned the PlayStation stuff because I was like, I've heard of this game before, and I was like, that's why I've heard of it because it was PS3. You said?
Yeah, PS3 exclusive.
PS3. So, yeah, I think I wasn't too pleased with this overall showcase. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff that really stood out to me. One of the games that did was Rainbow Moon. I know it's out on PS4, I think, or is it coming out on PS4? Or is it already out on PS4? It was
out on PS4.
But it's a really cool looking RPG. I think it looks really pretty, and I think it could be people know about it already if it's a great game. But I had not heard about it until they shut it off. So that was really the only one that stood out to me at all, really, from this list. And I probably won't end up getting it because it's an RPG and I don't have the time. I'm still working through.
A sequel. Rainbow Skies is the first one, which is they also brought to the Switch.
That's true. They did talk about Rainbow Skies as well. So yeah. But it looks like a great game, and I think it's moving at 60 frames per second, and it's got a really cool art style and everything. I think it should be a great game. But yeah, overall, I was not too pleased with this list of games from EastAsiaSoft this time.
Always next time.
But that brings us to the end of the definite stuff. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about, maybe just briefly, some of the rumors that we've been hearing coming out before we move into our headlines section. So there's been some rumors about Switch Pro, Switch 2, new Switch, whatever it is. There's also been rumors again about Nintendo Directs possibly even happening, in the next week or so. So, are we going to be seeing a Switch 2? And when we're going to see it, could it even be announced at this Nintendo Direct that's going to be happening in a couple weeks? Or any of the rumors, especially around the next Switch console, like anything stand out to you guys, or anything that that you've heard that you're like, man, this does make sense, that I think this is going to be legit, and this is not too far fetched. Just any thoughts in general about all the rumors you've been hearing, Barry?
I think there's some truth to them this time. I do think that things were shown off at Gamescom. That is a big show, and E3 didn't happen. So I think things would have been shown off at E3 had it happened, but it didn't. And I believe things were shown up because if it's coming next year, and I believe it's coming next year, it's time, right? It's 7 years. Uh, it's definitely time for it to appear. They have to get developers on board, or they have no games, which means dev kits have to exist, and devs need to know what they're working with. And that's the time to go in private meetings when you can go in person and you could show a bunch of different developers all at the same time. So I truly believe they were at Gamescom. I do believe that they showed it off, and I do think some of the stuff that we're hearing is potentially true. And I say potentially because there's always the telephone game. One developer leaks it to his friend, and then he leaks it to somebody else, and she leaks it to somebody else. And at this point, it's could be exaggerated beyond belief. So I hope, I've heard it's as easily as powerful as PS4 and Xbox One. It could be as powerful as the PS5 or the Series X. I've heard that they've ran the Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo, and I don't know if you've played that demo. You can't anymore. I think they deleted it. But it was a really cool demo on the PS5 and the Xbox. Did you play it, Steve? I see you
I
shaking your
downloaded
head.
it, but I didn't get to boot it up yet. So
Oh,
I
you
think,
should.
yeah.
It's cool. You get to walk around a city, like at least a little part of a city, and then you
Mm-hmm.
could pull out like the camera, like you could fly all the way up, and you can see like details are still there.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't lose the when you get the draw distance is insane.
That's
So
cool.
it's a really impressive demo that if that was running on the Switch 2, truthfully, I am very, very excited because that no way in hell that wouldn't run on a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it was current gen only, and Unreal Engine 5 is very powerful, and it's brand new technology. And if that's the case, and third parties can easily bring their games to the Switch too, you're looking at a powerhouse. Nintendo has already dominated. Seriously, they could
Yeah.
easily, like Activision has flat out said, like we're idiots for not bringing Call of Duty over. Like
Hmm.
we were boneheads for that. And now with the deal with Microsoft, if that buyout goes through, Microsoft's already promised.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna see. Think about this: the Switch beat out the PS4, PS5. PS5 still going, and the Xbox of all shapes and sizes, without Call of Duty, without Madden, with a nerfed FIFA. Like those are big games. There are people who only play those games. If it had those on top of it and you could bring it on the go, like I can only see this going up, and there'll backwards compatibility in, so those people who didn't get a Switch because they only play Call of Duty now could go back and experience all the Switch games they've missed. Uh, a powerhouse. This could technically or potentially be a real powerhouse if some of the stuff is believed. So
Yeah.
I am not buying into the rumors other than it being shown off because that does make sense. They have to do that or they launch with nothing. And Gamescom makes sense as a location. So I think there's going to be some truth to it. As for announcing during an October or September direct, absolutely not. They just showed off a brand new Switch Mario. They would be cannibalizing that if they showed it off. No, they want these holiday sales. Oh, they also announced the Mario Kart 8 bundle is back. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
The Mario Kart 8 bundle with the 3 months is back. Ooh, big features. And some new Switch lights they showed off as well. So no, since they showed that and announced that, they're not going to cannibalize that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get your hopes up. In my opinion, new Switch is going to be shown off early next year, maybe January or February, like that really early direct they usually have. but I do not see them cannibalizing this holiday season.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if it does, get to that kind of power. Like, that'd be really awesome. And I think a way that who knows if they'll actually do it, but I know a lot more games are having the cross saves and cross play. And so if you could actually bring over your save from your PS5 and then be able to play that on, your Switch on the go, stuff like that, on Madden or whatever it is, that could be really huge for them. I don't know if they'll do it, but that'd be a big move as well. Greg, what do you think about all these rumors?
I mean, pretty much they're just mostly rumors until like we get something like official, obviously. So I know people have been like kind of drooling at the mouth for Nintendo to enter the power race, but I mean, this is also comes from the same types of people that were awfully surprised at Tears of the Kingdom's ability to implement all those physics into the Switch, as opposed to like have not even seen those kinds of things on the Xbox One and PlayStation 5. So obviously you have to always take that with a grain of salt. I know Nintendo does like to go like the cheaper side for hardware. So I mean, maybe they were able to figure out how to get like that engine thing to work on with lesser specs, but obviously we just have to look to see like when a more formal announcement is made regarding it. I mean, they certainly could jump back into power, but I don't know. I think they've been enjoying being like the underpowered underdog and still like pulling ahead. I think they've proven that's kind of how it's been working. I mean, the Wii did outsold like the 360 and PlayStation 3, so who's to say that? And the Switch has already beat the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, so who's to say that they're not going to continue with that kind of like somewhat underpowered to move forward? I mean,
that's true.
It's going to be underpowered, but in terms of that, but you also have to remember the PS4 and the Xbox One came out in 2013. So the technology is a decade old at this point, and the Switch is under that in terms of power. The PS5 and the Series X came out in 2020, so that's almost 3 years old at this point. So those same components are cheaper now than they were at launch for those systems. So granted, there's a portable factor, but there's a dock. But Nintendo could potentially use those same similar style chipsets and make it more affordable at this stage in the game.
It's true. I do think if that's the case, we're going to be talking about a more expensive system, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a $400 Switch too.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do a lesser version, but they don't need to do a lesser version because the Switch is the lesser version. They just lower the price of the Switch to $200. If you want that, you're fine. You've got a huge library of games, and they're going to continue to support it. But if you want the power, at least at the beginning, $400, and they will sell.
Yeah. Do you guys think
easily,
Do you guys think that it is? I mean, I don't know enough about the tech. I feel like this is possible, but the whole setup that we've talked about before around having a lesser powered handheld itself, but a powered dock that you can put it into, that all of a sudden you do have the quality of a PS5 when it's docked, but maybe it's a PS4 when it's in handheld or something. Do you think that's a possibility that they might go down that direction?
Yeah, I think this time the rumors at least are talking about the dock upscaling, like truly upscaling. Like it does a little bit with the Switch, but like really upscaling. It has to be 4K. Like I believe the OLED was going to be 4K, but with the chip shortages, they still bought those chips and held on to them for this launch so that it can be. I know Nintendo like didn't do HD because not a lot of people had HD TVs in the house, like with the Wii, and then they finally did that, and they said, well, we're not going to do 4K because a lot of people don't have 4K TVs. At this point, it's almost impossible to buy a non 4K TV. At this point, so it has to be to be 4K.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
However, I do think handheld's LCD. I don't think we're going to get an OLED. I think to sacrifice for the cost, I think the handheld's going to be LCD again.
Unless you have two different versions.
They could be that too.
Yeah, because that OLED looks beautiful.
Yeah, the OLED sure does look beautiful, and I thought that was one of the rumors already that was going to be like an LCD on like for the handheld. I think just to probably hopefully cut cost too. But yeah, I would imagine with like the dock could probably upscale it even further and handle that even better. That's what I'm thinking is how they'll go with that route. But yeah, in terms of the announcement, I don't really think it's gonna happen like this year. I still feel like it's might be maybe potentially in line around like that March timeframe. I feel like they have done pretty good there. But yeah, if it is next like this week, then I'd be super surprised. And like Barry said, I don't think they're going to cannibalize the holiday sales. But I mean, I really think they learned their lesson when they did it with the DSi and the 3DS back in 2011 or whenever that was, or 2010. It was like, oh, by the way, we have a new model coming out, and like, oh, and then there's the DS successor, the 3DS, coming out like right after that. So, yeah, I don't think that they'll be doing that again, especially for here. And even like that initial Switch reveal was like in January, so I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't hold my tongue to have like the
No, January was the big presentation. The initial one was October with the trailer where it showed the girl taking the Switch to the rooftop party and all that stuff. But they did that in October because the Wii U was already dead. They needed to build up energy because they had nothing. The Wii U had nothing that holiday. It wasn't
No,
selling.
they totally cannibalized the sales with that one. I don't know.
Yeah, they lost all 5 sales they would have gotten.
Yeah, no, like the Wii U is like a relic, and I think they didn't make the two versions of the Wii U very distinct enough to warrant like having a second model. So
And
hopefully, if
the
they
white
are,
one was
yeah,
actually weaker too, which was it had less internal memory.
Forgot that one even existed.
It
So
did
did
I
for a
Nintendo.
short
don't even
time.
think anyone bought the white one unless they some reason didn't order enough for the black ones.
Yeah, they definitely pulled an Apple on that one, and like releasing a lower priced app or iPad that has like 32 gigabytes of memory that no one wants just to have that lower price point.
I think it had like 8. It was like
Yeah,
terrible.
it was bad. Yeah, for sure. So looks like Dragon Lord says agrees with us on the Switch 2 MSRP predictions as well, and thanks for joining us in the chat. So yeah, only time will tell if we have another Nintendo Direct before the next podcast. We'll definitely be covering it in the next podcast, or maybe they'll just drop one randomly, the day after the next episode is probably what's going to happen. But we'll be covering it for sure on the next one, and eventually we'll get our new Switch 2 Pro. And
yeah, remember our podcast is pretty influential in terms of Nintendo's timing schedule. So
that's right.
Might have to be on the lookout tomorrow for that tweet say or whatever to say. Oh, by the way, tune in Thursday for that next Nintendo Direct.
Probably. Well, that's it for our major headlines, our stories this episode. But we do have some headlines we want to make sure that you guys know about, and Greg and Barry are going to be heading those off. So take it away, Greg.
All right. So since we've had a long wait on the podcast, there's been quite a number of games added to the NSO library. So back on July 26th, we had the Zelda games, the Oracle Seasons and Oracle of Ages be released to the Game Boy Color app, Game Boy/Game Boy Color. Also, that came to that same app was the Pokemon trading card game on August 8th. To N64, we got Pokemon Stadium 2. And then to the N64 library on August 30th, we got Excite Bike 64. Super Nintendo finally got a new game with Kirby's Star Stacker on September 5th. We also got Quest for Camelot to the Game Boy one on September 5th. And man, September 5th was pretty stacked with Downtown Nikizitsu March Super Awesome Field Day to the NES library and Joy Mech Fight to the NES library. So quite a lot of updates, and be sure to keep your Nintendo subscription online for more games coming.
And speaking of the NES, over at Premium Edition Games, we're celebrating Netstember right now, where we have our first 2 titles, Or Body Binder's Tale and Bobby 67. We have them up, new copies that people can get. But we also premiered a brand new game that actually went up today, as of the time of this recording, called Oratorio. This is a rhythm shooter like Rez. This is from the developer of Ore Body. John is an awesome guy. This is a wonderful game, the only game of its type on the NES. We have standards and we have silvers, and the silvers have sold out. However, we might have some more coming to later this month to check out. But the games are all complete on Kart, and it's a special cart to make this game run too, which I found interesting. So we have the absolute special cart to make it fully work, and just something that hopefully you enjoy. But stay tuned because there's some other stuff coming down the road this month from Premium as well.
We did talk a lot about Tears of the Kingdom earlier on in this podcast. So actually, El Numa was on a interviewed with Famitsu, and then in that interview he discussed that there is no plans to release additional content for Tears of the Kingdom. He said that is because he felt like they were able to get everything they wanted into the game by creating all the different fun in that world. So yeah, that was definitely very interesting to hear, and I guess just have to enjoy playing Tears of the Kingdom as is.
And speaking of no more new additional content, this morning they made the sad announcement about Mario Kart Tour ending with brand new content. The anniversary tour will go live on September 20th, and following that on October 4th will be the Battle Tour. And the Battle Tour will be the last tour of new content. The Halloween one comes after. This does not, unlike games like Dragalia Lost, this is not end of service. The game is going to continue. There's a ton of tracks that they've added in the game. They'll constantly cycle the drivers and the carts and the gliders as well as the tracks, and keep the game going with tours. However, no new content will be added. It will just be recycled, so it'll still be playable, thankfully. And they're not just outright killing it, but
for now,
it is sad. For now, yeah, for now.
Yeah, in addition to what Barry had mentioned previously in the podcast, we will be receiving the Mario Kart 8 bundle returning with 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online for anyone that really likes that holiday bundle. So be on the lookout this holiday season for that one. And also there's going to be a new Nintendo Switch Lite with Animal Crossing New Horizons edition with Isabel's Aloha edition and Timmy and Tommy's Aloha edition as well. So if you're in the market for a new Nintendo Switch Lite, then that might be just for you. And probably a little reminder that wasn't included in this is also the Mario Wonder Switch version will also be releasing, I think, that same day as well too. The all-red Nintendo Switch OLED.
Yep.
And something we've talked about before and many people have hyped up, Nintendo Live happened over in Seattle. And that happened on September 1st to the 4th. So there are recaps on our Discord, so make sure to check those out. This was a fantastic event for Nintendo fans. Tons of pictures, tons of people going with their kids, having a lot of fun sharing the Nintendo love. And there was a lot of competitions too. So they did have a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Squad Strike championship, and William was the winner, so congratulations to that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had a championship, and the winner was Kevo, or Kevo, so congratulations there. Smash Brothers Ultimate had an Amiibo plus Me exhibition, which I think is great. Let's see how people can train up Amiibo, and the winner was Prank Teens. And Splatoon 3 had a championship as well during it, and the winner, Jackpot, which is a team of 3. So congratulations to all those winners. And if you wound up going, please let us know your thoughts. But check out our Discord for live updates.
Cool. Yeah, some cool stuff going on over the last couple months, for sure. As I was hopping through my Nintendo Switch today, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of NSO games I'm gonna be checking out. So I'm actually gonna be traveling again pretty soon, like later this week, and that might be some stuff that I play on the plane, is downloading some of those NSO games and trying my hand at some of those games that I'd kind of forgotten about, and some other games that I think a lot of those came from, were they Japan only, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of those that I've never even heard of, never even got the chance to play before. So looking forward to that for sure. But unfortunate about Mario Kart. Mario Kart Tour, understand how those things can happen, but glad to see that it's not going away altogether for now, at least. We'll see what happens in the future because who knows with Mario and mobile or with Nintendo and mobile. But yeah, all the other stuff sounds really cool as well. Barry, any overall thoughts about these headlines?
Yeah, so going through them, the NSO games, always happy to see the Oracle games get more love. Pokemon Trading Card game was a lot of fun too, and Excitebike 64. And, I thought it was weird to see a bunch of Japanese games, but Joy Mech Fight, that's Nintendo. Like, it's great that we can finally play it on an official US system. And Kirby Superstar Stacker, man, I loved Star Stacker on the Game Boy, and when I found out there was a Super Famicom version that we never got back in college, I found the ROM, and I played the hell out of it on an SNES emulator. Such a great puzzle game. So that it's here now on the Switch is awesome, and I hope that we get a third Star Stacker, or maybe this one even translated. But phenomenal game, honestly. Obviously, I'm biased, but definitely check out Oratorio because John's an awesome guy and the game is amazing. And I can't wait to share more stuff with everybody later on, later this month. And as for Tears of the Kingdom DLC, I saw some people complaining about it. I don't see anything wrong with it. The game is complete. The game is huge. Not every game needs DLC. I'd rather they spend that time working on the next game than to to add on to a game that's already very feature rich.
Yeah.
So I have no problem there. As for Mario Kart Tour, as an avid player, this pretty much just tells me I can keep playing and enjoying, but I'm not going to be putting any more money into it. Like, okay, cool, but I'm still going to enjoy it because honestly, even without the new content, just it's something that I enjoy doing and unwinding and just racing. I play it more than any of the other Mario Kart games because I have it on me at all times. And it's like, oh, I only have 5 minutes. I could just pick up my phone and boom, play it, as opposed to let me turn on my Switch and boot it up. And by the time I get into a race, I got to go. So the convenience factor allows me to really enjoy Mario Kart Tour. So I definitely plan to keep playing. It's just they're not getting any more of my money. As for the Switch and Switch Lite bundles, I mean, it just proves that they're not going to announce anything for Switch 2. I think the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle is a joke. It's been a joke for a while. Put everybody 1-2 Switch at this point in there. Like, do something. Like, spice it up. How about 3 months of Switch Online with the expansion pack? Because you're giving everyone in Mario Kart 8. Like, do something, anything. It's like I feel like it's the meme with the stick and you're just poking. Like, do something already. And as for Nintendo Live, so many people are like, "Oh, we're gonna get new announcements and blah blah blah." Well, of course, we didn't. But from what I saw of the pictures, everyone loved it, and our good friend Thomas had his stuff there, and he got to go and check it out, and it's always great seeing his work. And yeah, it was just a fun event, and I think some people forget that video games are supposed to be fun. And I saw a lot of people with their kids, and even journalists brought their kids, and they're like, "Oh, my son had a great time, my daughter had a great time." And I'm like, "That's it. That's what this is about. This isn't about arguing on the internet over stupid stuff. It's about playing games and having a good time."
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's nice to have those events that they let us know ahead of time that there are not going to be any announcements during this thing, and I think that's great to have those events and just, you know what, we could just relax and just have a great time, and that's it. We don't have to worry about, oh, new announcements and all that stuff. Just have a fun time, which is awesome. I've heard that it was a fun event too, and some of the people said that they think it was a good add-on to PAX West, but probably should be its own thing moving forward, because it kind of made it a little crazy with two events going on at the same time. But Greg, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just jumping back onto that Nintendo Live thing for sake of continuity. Yeah, I would just wish they would have even more around like the country, obviously, because with it just being in the Seattle land area, it's kind of hard to account for that unless you're a super devoted fan and want to like, oh yeah, I can't miss this. I have to like fly out, like get plane tickets and fly all the way out there and make a whole thing of it. So I mean, it would be nice if there's a little bit more that they could do there, but obviously understand they can't be everywhere at the same time too. So yep. In terms of the models, like, yeah, it's usually pretty predictable. I mean, they've done numerous models in the past, and they don't seem to want to kill off that Mario Kart 8 bundle just because Mario Kart 8 just refuses to die. So it's been around since the Wii U, and here they are just pumping it strong, full of extra content, and even its own bundle for the holiday season. So it's here to stay, I guess. Kind of sad to see that the tour is actually ending. I thought it was one of the more popular games, like in terms of content and purchases and stuff, but I guess it's kind of dropped off a little bit because otherwise they wouldn't be ending the new content for it. But hopefully they can keep it running or keep repeating events or whatever, just to keep people able to still play the game. But it might be that swan song time for Mario Kart Mobile. Kind of stinks that it has to go to that, but it's kind of the nature of the beast when you keep adding so much stuff into the gacha pipes and everything like that too. So, but Fire Emblem Heroes is still going strong, so go figure. But I mean, that is like their number one mobile game, and that's probably not gonna get dethroned anytime soon. I am kind of surprised about the Tears of the Kingdom DLC. I was telling Steve right before the podcast, I thought I remember hearing like another like YouTuber content creator say that they had confirmed like DLC for it, and then when I did my own research on it, I found out that was false. So I don't know if it was like just rumors and speculation, whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do it. I was telling some friends that like, especially that everyone that likes to abuse like those duplication glitches, this would be a way to force them to upgrade the game. So if like even if the DLC is free, like, oh, here's Trial of the Sword, and oh, if you update to the latest version, then you can get it, and then that would get everybody off of those earlier glitched versions. But obviously, maybe they don't have any desire to do that, so it's totally on them, I guess. And then yeah, like the NSO is great to see it's still getting more games. It's still too slow on the amount that they're releasing, but it's never going to get anywhere because they like to just pull the plug and just like, oh, we'll start over again. So it really stinks, and just they need to get more games out. We're still waiting for Mario Party 3, which was announced last year. So
I saw some people debating about tours ending too, about Mario Kart 10 coming. And one of the things that probably extended the life of Mario Kart Tour was the bundle, like the DLC for Mario Kart 8. And because all those courses, they're taken from Tour, and the brand new courses are taken from Tour. And now with that ending, they're going to be focusing on the next Mario Kart. And most likely they probably looked at the Tour team and said, you did a great job with these new courses. We want your assistance in making, and working on the new title. And that's my guess, and a lot of people feel that way. And maybe Mario Kart 10 will be a launch title for the new Switch.
Or
and that's always possible.
Just switch over to Mario Kart Ultimate. We're good.
Yeah, well, it should just be 8 with all the DLC and then new tracks on top of it. I also want to see the points from the tour mode. I want to see that as an option, like the standard and then the point races, because I think having the points added something to it. It made it so that it wasn't just getting first place. It was making your combos, like keeping your chain going, and racing more strategic. And I'd love to see that in proper Mario Kart in the console. Like just have it as an option, not as it has to go that way.
Yeah.
And then do tournaments like the point tournaments, I think are great in Tour, because it's not just, oh, I got in first place. Well, so did a billion other people, but it's, I got in first place with this amount of points. And of course the gacha makes it so you need better, like higher level carts to get those points. But if everybody's on a level playing field, I think it could be really, really competitive.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see the 3 items in the frenzy mode. Like, I think frenzies in Tour is a lot of fun too. It's chaotic, but it's fun. Make it so it's optional, turn it on or off, but having 3 items and you could do frenzies, I think is fun. It's like Smash Brothers, turning items off or on. Like, bring those to the next Mario Kart. Make it more enjoyable, in my opinion.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, I love all those modes of Mario Kart Tour. I just didn't like the control. And like I felt like if I take any time off at all from playing it, it takes me a long time to get back into that control method again, and where I can just hop right into Mario Kart regular on a controller really easily. But the game modes that they had included are fantastic. So yeah, like I'm all for just porting those things over and bring them to the next Mario Kart game. I would love that.
I want to see all the tracks ported over too, because even like the 64 tracks, the GameCube tracks, the Wii tracks, they all got every one got 4 modes in Tour. It wasn't just regular and reverse. There was trick mode and trick reverse, and it changed the entire course up. And I'm playing like, SNES and 64 tracks that I played in my youth in all new ways was so fresh,
Mm-hmm.
and those are locked onto Tour, and if it's not part of the current Tour, you can't play them. So to be able to have that entire list, like every track in Tour, like all those variations, like when you pick a track, choose which version, I think would be phenomenal, because they already exist. So it's just literally just porting it over.
Yep.
And they showed they can do that already.
Yep, totally. Looks like Dragon Lord also mentioned in the chat, heard rumors that Square Enix might be having a Final Fantasy VII remake as a launch title for the Switch 2 or Switch Pro. Heard that as well, and yeah, that wouldn't be surprising if it really does bring the power that people are saying it's going to. It'd be really cool to see some of these other titles start and make their way over to the next Switch for sure. But we've went a long time already. We've got to start to wrap it up. But before we do that, make sure just a reminder that we remind you to go follow us on social media at NintendoFuse. You can find that link in our show notes and on the YouTube description as well. But also, if you've not joined our Discord, please join that as well. The link is on the screen on the video versions, but also in the show notes and the YouTube description. We'd love to have you over there. But let's look ahead to the next couple weeks. Our next podcast is going to be coming out live on September 25th, 2023, and we'd love to have you there live. But until then, we've got some games that are going to be coming out, and we're going to talk about what some of those games are, some of the notable games, and what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks. So again, thanks to Metacritic for supplying this list for us. As I scroll the video version, scroll the games on the screen, just some notable games that we probably need to let you know about. Super Bomberman R2 comes out on September 13th. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC Part 1 also comes out on September 13th. Mortal Kombat 1 comes out on September 14th. NASCAR Arcade Rush comes out on September 15th. Baby Shark Sing and Swim Party. I put that one on there for you, Barry, now that you've got a little baby.
I already have it pre-ordered and showed my wife, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing that with him. So.
Nice. September 15th for Baby Shark. Also, Gloomhaven comes out on September 18th. Days of Doom comes out on September 21st. Ren, The Last Child comes out on September 21st. Okay, this is like the longest name in the universe. This is why I put it on the list. Yu, defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and oh no, I made a typo. Armor? I think it's weapons and armor. So defeat monsters and gain strong weapons and armor. You may be defeated, but you don't give up. Become stronger. I believe there will be a day when. Comes out on September 21st. Also, Avatar: The Last Airbender, A Quest for Balance comes out on September 22nd. And another game for you, Barry, Crybaby's Magic Tears, the big game, comes out on September 22nd. Who would want to play that on a video game? But anyway, you can get that on September 22nd. So, Barry, any of these games that you're excited about, or any others you're going to be playing in the next couple weeks?
Well, I plan to finish up Mario & Rabbids DLC, and then the next big one that I was really, really looking forward to is the Dragon Quest game coming out. You didn't even mention Bet and Kaitos 1 and 2.
Oh,
Everyone should play that. Everyone should play that. I've already beaten them, so I won't be replaying them, but everyone should play it. Phenomenal games. Again, Trapped to GameCube brought over. Monolith Soft too. So there is first party is without being first party as can be. But I might be doing Rune Factory 3 special came out, and I really enjoy the Rune Factory games, or Pokemon DLC, because I really enjoyed Scarlet Violet, and the DLC looks interesting, especially the second part. But because I'm in between here, I might go for that. And of course, if they ever patch Baldur's Gate 3, I'd love to finish that because that's great. Solar Ash is coming out too. That's another good game. But yeah, that's my plan. How with a kid, I can't say it's going to be definite and stay, but that's at least my plan for the next 2 weeks.
Nice. How about you, Greg?
I mean, it'll probably be Pikmin 2 is the primary one that I'll actually be playing. But yeah, the Baton and Kratos does sound kind of interesting. I might, because I know Barry has like spoke with great lengths of those games, so that might be something that I might look into like, picking up at some point. And then most likely Super Bomberman R2. I don't think this will be like a when I get on release. I'll probably wait for them to just throw it on like a super sale. But I mean, I did like the first one, but I also know that like they tend to cut the price pretty fast of like the game, because I believe that even the first one like got cut down pretty soon after it came out. So I mean, I am a Bomberman fan. I really liked what they did from the first R version on Switch, and excited to see what's kind of coming up next in the next one. So those are probably a few that I'll be looking into in the coming weeks here.
I just totally blanked. Legend of Naruto is coming on September 19th. That's the next big one. That's a spin-off to the Legend of Heroes games, Falcom again. So I'm absolutely playing that. That is a big one.
Nice. And none of you are getting the Monu game with the
I have it
gigantic name?
When they announced that, I pre-ordered it on PS5 and Switch. I'm like, I have to have this on both. That is the best named game ever, and I will stand by it.
I'm just glad it's a long name, but it's not difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, it's a dungeon crawler too.
I just feel like they just like put like the description as the title, like.
But they even printed it on the art too, like the logo and everything.
It's like, great. You gain strong weapons and armor. You might be defeated. Don't give up. You can become stronger. Like it's like the whole like I feel like it's like the summary of the game, like all in the title.
But then it just ends. I believe there will be a day when.
Yeah, I think they probably ran out of characters.
They ran out of characters. That's it. Yeah.
Well, you know how sometimes you have like the little excerpt and then you have to click to see the full article? That was the end of the excerpt.
Yeah, exactly. Click here to see more. Yep. Oh man. I think I'm just gonna try to play more Twilight, or not Twilight Princess, Tears of the Kingdom. I do want to go back and play Twilight Princess at some point though, but it's probably not going to be the next couple weeks.
Hold out for that port.
No, I don't want to start that tutorial again. I want to just jump past it.
They fixed it in the HD version.
Oh, did they? I don't have that version. And so yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, probably continue to play more of that and play more of the DLC for Mario and Rabbids, and probably get some of those NSO games as well. And that's probably going to dominate most of my time, because I am going to be traveling over the next week or so. But one thing I did want to show you guys, I forgot to show this earlier. My parents have been starting to clean up my childhood bedroom and bring me things that I have been sitting in my childhood bedroom for a really long time. And yes, I'm very much an adult, and I'm finally getting these things from my parents. So I have a bunch of my Game Boy manuals that I totally forgot about, and Game Boy Advance manuals and stuff. So some of the Game Boy Advance manuals that I have that I forgot I even had the game, honestly, because I really thought, I've even talked about this on the podcast before, that I was like, man, I only own like 3 or 4 Game Boy Advance games. Well, apparently not, because I have manuals for about 12 games that I totally forgot that I purchased at some point. So that's funny.
Maybe a sibling? Was it your sister?
No, just me. No, I just forgot that I bought them. Something happened.
Same thing like me. Then you like regret selling them to like Funkoland or GameStop or whatever. And it's like, it's like, why did I get rid of this game? Now I really want it back, and then now you got to pay $500 for it. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yep. And then they also brought all my comic books, which is so fun to have all my comics and everything back. And when I was looking through the comic books, I found this one. Do you guys remember this at all? Vortex.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I have this comic. It's still in really, really good shape as well, and definitely put it in a a sleeve and everything to keep it in good shape. But yeah, that was fun to go through. And I've got some of my old Nintendo Powers and Game Informers and all that stuff. I think I have the Game Informer where they were announcing the Nintendo Ultra 64 as well. And got that one back there. It's not in great shape because I read that thing so many times because I was so excited for the Ultra 64. But yeah, I was glad my Vortex comic was still in good shape, and my manuals for Game Boy and Game Boy Advance are still in really good shape too. So yeah, excited about that. But yeah, anything else going on exciting in your guys' lives before we wrap up on this episode? Barry, anything exciting other than taking care of a baby?
I say, my son is number one, and the pups, of course. And I've just been working a lot behind the scenes for the next direct for premium, and a lot of writing and recording and working with the editor, and I've got something really cool going up. So can't wait to share that with everybody, because it's always like it's a labor of love. It's like a child. It's like you from the conception stage to becoming an adult, and it's like I kind of wish my child could just become an adult that quickly too. Then I have to change diapers and listen to cries and
You will rule those days, like when you're like, I miss like when they couldn't like walk or do anything like that.
Oh yeah, I know. Once he starts walking, I'm screwed. He's already crawling up me. I'm like, oh my God, you're not even 3 months old and you're crawling up my chest. Like, how are you doing this? All the books said like 6 months, 5-6 months, not now.
That's fun. Greg, anything exciting happen on in your life the next couple weeks?
But not really. I mean, I know there's gonna be some like wedding planning and all that other fun stuff that's gonna be going on. So, yeah, I don't know what iPad is just keeps ringing here. Sorry about that.
Tell your fiance we're almost done.
Yeah, it's like
that ball and chain, it's just pull a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody was probably seeing like little pup that was sneaking her head up at times throughout the podcast, but yeah, she's been doing really well. She's had quite a busy weekend and was running in the yard a little bit, so today she's just been like very out of it, and so she's like been sleeping basically all day today. So like she wanted to sit in my arms, and so she wasn't making any peeps. And I know at some point she kind of like poked her head up and might have been like blocking part of my camera, or like even my shirt logo and everything. So like it's continuing to be a very good blessing to have like the pup here as part of the family. So
cool.
Yeah, a whole lot of other stuff outside, like the figuring out where I'll be getting married, and also potentially I'm sure a move is going to be in order also within the next year as well too. But yeah, I guess all of those fun times will be coming on ahead.
Cool. Well, like we said, we'll be back on September 25th with our next live recording. So hopefully you can join us live. If you've never done that before, we'd love to have you there. And if you usually join us live, we're looking forward to having you back as well. We stream live on YouTube and Twitch every other Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And I'd love to have you jump in the chat and just say hi and let us know all your thoughts about what you've been playing and all your thoughts around the news stories that we cover as well. But until September 25th, we're going to be over on our Discord, on social media and everything. Love to have you join us over there. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.